Hey everybody, I'm Dave with Growing the Home Garden. I thought today I'd take you for a quick look and give you an update as to the fall garden that I planted last week. So we're about 8 days in at this point. Everything was started from seed. We've got a variety of different fall garden plants, from sugar snap peas to kale and things like that. So let's take a look and just see how they're doing. So here we are in the garden bed. You can see these are the tomato cages that aren't really good for tomatoes, being used over here as support for the snap peas, and you can see that they're coming up really well. I put several in little clusters in different spots around the base of this, and you can see they're doing pretty good. Now I've got some weeds coming up, and this is one thing I did want to talk to you about. Is it's really good to know what these weeds actually look like when they're first germinating, because weeds germinate too, just like the plants that you want to keep in the garden. And if you can get them when they're nice and small like this, it's real easy to keep your bed weeded. You can see I've got these little grass pieces that are popping up here around those weeds. And then back over here, this one, that's bindweed, which I absolutely despise because it takes over everything. Probably my biggest pest weed that I've got in the area. So what you want to do is find what these things are, and it may be helpful even to leave a weed every now and then, just so you can learn what the baby weeds look like and what they actually turn into. But I can tell a lot of this here is just weeds that are coming up. Now over here on this side, of course, we got the snap peas, and they're doing really well. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 snap peas that are growing. Oh, I missed those 2 here. So that's actually 8 snap peas growing in that spot. Here in the middle, we planted the dinosaur kale, and it looks like we've got maybe 1 coming up right now. And brassicas always look like this. But the problem is there's so many different types of brassicas out there, from cabbage to Brussels sprouts to kale, like we mentioned there, and they all kind of look the same. So if you know kind of what you planted, see there's another one, and then there's another one right there too. So we got several of those coming up, but we do have a bunch of little weeds popping up here too, so we can take care of them fairly quickly and just clean up around those little brassicas that are popping up. That's actually a tomato seedling right there. And we don't really want tomatoes in this bed right now. And that happens a lot, because if you have a tomato that just kind of drops off the plant and it composts into the soil, the seeds are still remaining. The seeds don't always die off, and they eventually will germinate. So let's go over here. This is the other tower. You can see more snap peas are really doing well down here. But again, we've got more bindweed popping up. And this is bindweed slightly larger than the last one I just showed you. And you can see kind of that tip right there where it's kind of pointed. And that's a sure sign that it's bindweed in there. And I definitely want to get rid of those. So we do that whenever we can. And knowing, what your plants actually look like when they germinate is really helpful. But anyway, they're doing really well. Really happy with their germination. Now over here is a different kale. And it's done really great. I believe this is the purple leaf kale. I forget the name of it off the top of my head, but it is doing fantastic. Really looking forward to that. So, and there's some more brassicas right there. That's about where I put our Brussels sprouts, but I'm not sure that that's them necessarily. I'm not seeing a whole lot of germination out of the lettuce seed yet. So we'll see how that goes. It may be just a little too early or a little too warm for them, but they will probably be popping up here anytime. So you can see here, we've got really good germination out of this kale. It's growing up all over the place. In fact, some of that, it might actually be mustard that's crept in here. That one looks a little bit mustard-like, but we'll see. Mustard, of course, being another brassica that I do enjoy growing around here, but I didn't plant any directly in this bed, but there was some nearby, so it's very possible some seed has gotten in here. But if it's there, that's cool. We'll eat it. But right here was where the Brussels sprouts were, and I'm seeing some germination here, but that could be some stray kale seed too, so we'll wait and see how that comes up. Here again, we got more bindweed. More bindweed, more bindweed. It is terrible. And even more over here. So the best thing to do with your bindweed is to just stay on top of it. If you can dig it out, dig it out. If you have trouble with it, see, like this one, I was able to pull the whole thing out with the roots and everything. So hopefully that one won't come back. Now, oh, that's actually coming from outside of the bed in that one. Now next door, you can see my sweet potatoes have gone bonkers. They have spilled out into the aisle. They were being used as a ground cover into the pepper bed. And I'm just going to cross over here so you can take a look into the pepper area. And these are our Tabasco peppers. Now they're going to get dried, or I may try to turn them into Tabasco sauce later. But they're doing really well. You see them kind of in that red stage. That's where I would actually pick them and harvest them. So I need to come out here and do that. Next door, I've got an orange bell popping up, but unfortunately it's getting some rot damage here. If I can probably get some usable area out of that particular pepper, but I've apparently missed it and too late on it. This one over here is ready to go, and that's a paprika pepper. Those are a little bit on the spicy side, actually. So here's our cosmos. It's a really good attractant for pollinators to come in. It brings all kinds of little bees and butterflies pop in here. And I've got it planted. You can see a basil over here on the left and all our other pepper plants. Peppers have done pretty well this year. We're getting a lot of the little peppers, the hot peppers. Fewer of the more sweet peppers, but that's pretty normal. They kind of are a little slower to start and get going. But we've still been able to harvest quite a few bell peppers, and we haven't had to buy any from the store for a while now, which is my ultimate goal, is to reduce what we purchase at the store. Down over here, we've got a fallen pepper plant, and something has been nibbling on our sweet potatoes. That's interesting. I'm pretty sure it's a rabbit. Hopefully they're not taking too much of it out that it's going to hurt the actual plant. But I've seen the rabbits around here, so I'm 100% certain that's what it was. Over here's an orange bell pepper. We love these peppers. They're a little smaller than I'd like them to be, but you know what? They're still tasty. They're still good. We use them for a lot of cooking things. You can freeze them. You can can them if you want to with some canning techniques, but mostly we'll just freeze them or eat them fresh and put them in something nice and delicious for dinner. So I want to talk for 1 second about watering for germination reasons. In order to get your seeds to germinate really well, they've got to maintain consistent moisture. So once you start planting them and start watering, they need to stay moist. So every day you need to be out here watering them. This last week I watered them initially for the first couple days, but after that we have had probably an inch, 3/4 of an inch to an inch every day, if not more, because of Hurricane Laura coming through. We just get the remnants of here, so it really has not been bad. We've had some storms and stuff like that, but really no major effects here in this area. But on the positive side, it has kept everything all wet and damp and given the seedlings plenty of moisture to just start germinating. So that's been really good. So if you can pay attention to your weather forecast and kind of get ahead of the game a little bit to time your seed planting, it will definitely work out in your favor. Okay, and at least then, if you know if it's going to be a dry period, you know ahead of time that you're going to have to be out here watering consistently for the next 7 to 10 days. So I hope you're able to take away some tips there about germinating that fall raised bed garden. Threw in a few pepper shots and things like that there as a bonus. But if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. Happy to show you some more of the garden. And I'll give you another update here before too long on the fall vegetable garden and see how those things grow. So thanks for watching.